Hey everyone, Jennifer Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. And wow, that did not go as planned at all. The Rams killed the Vikings 27 to 9, and Sam Darnold was sacked 9 times. 9 times. So, for those of you that were out there thinking that the 49ers should not sign Brock Purdy to a long-term deal and should sign Sam Darnold instead, look at the last two games. I mean, I'm a huge Sam Darnold fan. I am an apologist for Sam Darnold because I went to USC. He's a USC alum. And so I really want him to succeed. I mean, if you've been watching this channel, you know that I wanted the Vikings to beat the Rams. I mean, I think most of us did anyways. But for Sam Darnold, because, he was finally with a good team. I mean, the writing's on the wall, though. Brock Purdy beat out Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was brought in 2023 to be Brock Purdy's backup in case Brock Purdy got hurt, had elbow issues still. So Brock Purdy held on to the job. Sam Darnold did not beat him out for the job. Sam Darnold has played really well at times. And then what we've seen from him, I mean, especially tonight, his offensive line is not great, but you've got to get rid of the ball. Like he held onto the ball for so long and took a sack. I mean, Brock Purdy has done that too. But I think what we've seen from a lot of players, a lot of quarterbacks that have been playing really well, is that when they see the rush coming, they down the ball. Just get rid of it. Don't take a 15-yard sack. Get rid of the ball, live to play another down. And, it's one of those things that Sam Darnold gets caught up, I think, in playing hero ball. He did it back at USC a little bit, but he really did it in Carolina and at the New York Jets, where he holds onto the ball trying to make a play. And I think everybody understands how much he wants to win. And so he's trying to hold onto the ball as long as he can to make a play. And so it just did not work out. He completed 25 of his 40 pass attempts, one touchdown, one interception, but the really being sacked 9 times. I don't even know what the yardage is. It's got to be a ton. Um, so I looked at the defense. I'm like 9 sacks, and I don't think the yardage is the yardage. Yeah. Uh, 11 and a half yards, 13 and a half yards, 18 yards, 6.5 yards, 12 yards, 9 yards, 6.5. I mean, he held onto the ball way too long, way into the backfield. But anyways, so for those of you that were thinking, no, get rid of Brock and sign Sam, I think this is pretty much a case study on why Kyle Shanahan wants to keep Brock Purdy in the building. And Fred Warner has said it. I've talked about it multiple times on here. Fred Warner has said he's the guy. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, in their closing of the 2024 season, said Brock's our guy. He's going to be around for a long time. Brock Purdy has said, I want to be around here. I want to get this deal done as soon as possible. I want to do it respectfully, without drama. It's Brock Purdy's team, period. It just is. And I know there's lots of talk from outside the building, but inside the building, that's where it counts. And it is Brock Purdy's team. So, anyways, that being said, there are a few small updates from the 49ers. They did conduct more interviews today. They interviewed Chris Banjo, who is the assistant on special teams for the Broncos. So he interviewed for the special teams coordinator position. He had a 10-year career in the NFL as a cornerback and a special teamer. So he knows how to do it. Obviously, the rules have changed for certain things, especially with kickoff, but punt returns still pretty much the same. And also, I'm sure he knows, to keep an eye out for fake punts. Just saying. Also, the 49ers completed an interview with Iowa State passing game coordinator Noah Pauley. So he's the passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach at Iowa State, Brock Purdy's home alma mater. So he interviewed for the offensive coordinator position. And again, like what I said before, Kyle Shanahan named Clay Kubiak because he's going to have kind of the same role, just a different title. But with the title change, the NFL says you have to go through the whole interview process. So guys are coming in, and even though they know or they might know that the interview is just to get FaceTime with Kyle Shanahan, that's what they want. They know, I think, that they aren't going to bump up into the offensive coordinator position because Kyle Shanahan really promotes from within for those positions. I mean, you watch Mike McDaniel, Clay Kubiak. Guys had to be with Kyle Shanahan for a while before they are bumped up into that offensive coordinator position. And it's offensive coordinator, and this is kind of how Kyle Shanahan's offense works. Kyle Shanahan calls the plays. That's not going to change. Now, Kyle Shanahan obviously had enough confidence in Clay Kubiak to let him have play calling duties during the preseason for one game and for that final game in Arizona. So just giving him a little, experience, which he never did to Mike McDaniel. He never allowed him that. But what happens is, Chris Forster, offensive line coach, Brian Fleury, whoever it is, Clay Kubiak or Mike McDaniel, those guys are all on the headset and they're all telling Kyle Shanahan options of what their thoughts on what plays should be or could be with the down and distance and how their players are feeling. Who's in, like if Kyle Juszczyk is feeling good, Bobby Turner can say something. If, um, whatever it is, if they think that they've got a play that works for this down and distance, they can say it on the headset. Kyle Shanahan makes the call into the quarterback. So only one person can talk to the quarterback, and that is Kyle Shanahan. So he will make the calls in, but he takes feedback and information and ideas from all of those guys. So having that experience is really good for a guy for their career path, right? So even though Iowa State passing game coordinator Noah Pauley might not bump into that role, maybe now he says, "Hey, I want to be on your staff at some point. Let me be, a wide receivers coach when maybe Leonard Hankerson either moves on, gets promoted, or whatever the case may be, or let me come in and be an assistant to Clay Kubiak to get more experience and more knowledge." Who knows? But it is good to get FaceTime in front of Kyle Shanahan, who has launched so many coaches' careers. So I think that's why guys, even though they know that Clay Kubiak is kind of the guy for the job, because Kyle Shanahan already named it. So, um, but it just opens the door. It gets your foot in the door, it gets you in front of Kyle Shanahan, which is always a good thing. So, those are the two updates. If we have a hire at any point tomorrow, kind of busy off and on, but I'll try to give you updates. I'm putting more videos in the shorts, so make sure you watch those, keep up on those. I do post news on Twitter, on Threads, on Blue Sky, also on Instagram. There's so many platforms, but not TikTok. Anyways, I'll keep you updated as much as possible here, and hopefully next week's games are more exciting because this one was kind of not that exciting. I think the best game, obviously, was the Washington win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was at least more competitive. I just was expecting more from the Vikings and Sam Darnold. I think Kevin O'Connell is a really good coach, and I know they've dealt with a lot of injuries throughout the season, but they've played well. So I was expecting a little bit more, but you know who the Rams remind me of? The Rams remind me of the 49ers. Remember when they went like 0 and 5 or 0 and 6 at the beginning of the season and they went up and won the NFC Championship game or went to the Super Bowl or whatever it was. There was a season, and I'm not remembering it very clearly right now because it's tired. I'm tired and it's late. Let me look it up. So it's, one of those seasons where you play your best football when it counts. And that's exactly what the Rams are doing right now. So, yeah, 2021, right? 2021. Um, 49ers did not start off well. They won the first two, Detroit and Philly, and then lost one, two, three, 4 games in a row to the Packers, Seahawks, Cardinals, and Colts. But then they started putting games together and they started winning towards the end of the season and they got into the playoffs and lost in the NFC Championship game. There's that season. And, I think there's just um, 2022. Let's see. They started off, yep, loss, win, loss, loss. So they started out 3-4, and then they won on a winning streak. Kind of after the bye, they won all of their games, and it's kind of like one of those seasons, right? It's kind of like, yeah, probably more like the 2022 season for the Niners, where they just went on a hot streak and they started killing everyone that like came into Levi's and it's not about winning at the beginning of the season, which is why everybody in the locker room this year said it's a long season. We still have time. We still have the whole season in front of us. So, a lot of times teams do. So, the Rams could be, just playing. They might have the momentum. They might be hot when it counts. And, they travel to Philadelphia. So we'll see how they do against the Eagles. I don't know who I'm going to root for in that game at all. Um, so yeah, LA goes to Philly, and let's see here. LA goes to Philly. The Ravens go to the Bills, so another Buffalo game. Washington goes to Detroit, and Texans go to the Chiefs. Here's my who I would like to win. And these are not picks per se, these are just like favorites in my head. I would love to see the Texans beat the Chiefs, obviously. I would like to see the Bills beat the Ravens. Washington Lions, I would love to see the Washington Commanders win, but I think the best chance of beating the AFC for the NFC is the Lions winning. Rams, Eagles. Ugh, that's a tough one. Um, I guess Eagles. I don't know. I'm gonna have to decide on that one later. Ugh. All right. That's it. On that note, talk to you guys later. Bye.